Hi, I'm Tim Parry from Multichannel Merchant, and I'm at ETL West with Dan Darnell, Vice President of E-Commerce and Product of Baynote, and we're talking a little about retargeting and some other activity going on online and in-store. Dan, a few years back, consumers were being retargeted. Ads from retailers whose sites you're visiting were following around. They were kind of like a little in a freaked out state. But now consumers seem fine with personalization, and they seem kind of like expected to have this activity happen. Why are consumers more at ease, and what has the e-commerce industry done to put consumers at ease?
Yeah, I think a couple different answers there. One, there is a difference between retargeting and personalization. I think consumers get freaked out when they see things in places they don't expect that seem personal to them. A couple answers there why people are more comfortable with retargeting. One, retargeters are doing a better job of not freaking them out. And I think on the flip side of that, consumers are getting more used to seeing stuff on other sites, from sites they recently visited. And on the other side of that question, the difference between personalization and retargeting, I think the retargeters are trying to do a better job of personalizing that content versus just ripping what the last product was you looked at on the site and then showing that to you 10 minutes later on the next site you go to. I think that was part of what was freaking people out. I still think there's a lot of room for improvement, though, in really understanding what the consumers are looking for, which is really the nature of personalization. Taking all that information that you have about them and then using that in an appropriate way to try and motivate the consumer to come back to the site, to motivate them while they're on your site, to re-engage them some point later. Those are really some of the goals of personalization. I think retargeters can learn a lot from that and do a much better job using those techniques to drive people back to the site.
Showrooming and couch commerce, they're not just industry buzzwords anymore. They've become normal consumer activity. How can the customer experience be personalized not just across channels but across devices then?
The device piece is a tough one. I think in the next couple years we'll see some really interesting connections across devices. One of I was joking with my team the other day that my security company actually sent me a package that said you can secure up to 5 devices of your own, and which means I would go in and put their software on all 5 devices, which means they would actually know who I am and what my devices are. That's really the step that has to happen for all the retailers to know what all my devices are. Now, there are a lot of retail technologies and applications that may accomplish the same thing. If I can get people to log in on each device, if I can send them email and get them to open it on their mobile phone or open it on their tablet while they're sitting on their couch, I can start to connect those devices with a consumer profile, right? And then I'll know, okay, they're on their tablet, here's the right experience to show them. They're on their mobile phone, here's the right experience to show them, and maybe incorporate some of that geolocation data from, if I have an app, from a GPS, things like that. I think that's where we'll see it happening. I think we have to be really careful, again, just like with retargeting, not to freak people out, that we know who they are and where they are as we personalize.
Baynote and the e-tailing group, you guys teamed up again for the 3rd annual holiday shopping survey. And as digital and social savvy as shoppers have become, catalogs wound up influencing the online and in-store purchases more than social media did. Was that kind of a surprise or even like an eye-opener for you guys? Or
I think it was an interesting and new thing that we really looked at this year, was the influence of catalogs. Wasn't a surprise to me. I mean, I look at every catalog that comes in my mail and obviously kind of triage that pile. But if you think about that as an opportunity for retailers, it's a tremendous opportunity when you think about what you pay to get somebody's eyeballs on the web or to get them to open an email. I mean, it's yet another opportunity to get in front of them. What's really changed about catalog commerce is that people don't, fill in an order form and send it in, or even phone in an order anymore. It's basically the entree to your website or to your store experience. And so, the realization that this is yet another way to get my products, a subset of my products, in front of someone and maybe drive them to my website to purchase or drive them to stores. And I think there's still work to do there, because I think we need to make it a lot easier to get from the catalog to the website, maybe embedding QR codes or other things in catalogs, so it's really easy to get from there to the buying experience.
Was there anything else from that survey that seemed to be an eye-opener, or anything that had major, like, any kind of seismic shifts or anything?
I don't think there were huge seismic shifts. I think the things that I thought were interesting, when you look at the data, you would expect Google to be hugely influential in terms of search influencing holiday shopping. Email promotions were right up there with Google in terms of their influence on holiday shopping. I think some of the other things, I actually made some notes. Email was one. You know, I think the influence that the online experience has in stores. So still only it's a small percentage compared to in-store purchases of the revenue, but the influence that that website has, that the mobile apps have, that online or digital experience has on in-store purchasing is huge. And I think that was a bit unexpected to me, even though I kind of hear it every once in a while. I think we need to pay attention to the omni-channel experience. It's going to be about multi-channel interaction for consumers, and then they're going to choose how they're going to buy. And we've got to be ready to interact with them wherever they go or however they want to buy.
Excellent. Dan, thank you very much for your time today. Enjoy the rest of ETL West 13.
Thanks, Tim.